Alright everyone, welcome back to Planet Zoo. If you didn't notice, we didn't have an episode out last week, and that's because of the Mystical Skyblock special. In case you somehow didn't catch that, we were wrapping off the Skyblock series. We still have a few episodes to go, but we're mainly wrapping off all the building on our island with a grand finale. So we had a brand new episode out every day from Monday to Friday. First it was Mystic, then Soup, then we had an interlude where we fought some Revenants with a bunch of you guys, then we had my episode on Thursday to replace COVEA, and then Hattie's episode on Friday. So if you didn't catch those, I'd really recommend checking them out because they were really fun to record and they took a hell of a lot of effort to make, so it would mean a lot if you guys checked it out. Shameless plug over, we are back working on the safari exhibit that we started in the last COVEA episode. I pretty much tripled the size of the habitat, which was honestly just a lot of rocks and plants, and it's just like, no, I don't want to do this, but I did it because it looks cool. But I do really think that all this work has paid off. When you fly up and look down on the petrified plateaus, it looks freaking awesome. It's really starting to come together. In the next episode, we're going to be having one more habitat. I believe we're going to have chimpanzees or gorillas because those were on the list that I originally wanted in the plateaus. Then we're going to have an episode where we pretty much fill in all the gaps in these plateaus so we can kind of finish it off before moving over to Subnautica for a series, and then we'll of course come back to Project COVEA after that Subnautica thing. And I know I've talked about it before for when we return to Project COVEA, but I have some just immensely huge plans that I'm incredibly excited to get into. To be honest, right now, as much as I'm enjoying the Petrified Plateaus and finishing up the Ruby Basin on the streams, I really badly want to get on with this new project in this new region in the zoo. And I can't do it yet, but hey, I'll probably be working on that throughout this Subnautica series as well, because I just won't be able to help myself. I won't be able to get away from Planet Zoo like you might expect. But of course, with me expanding this safari habitat, I also added a new animal. I looked at the list, and you might see that at some point in the video. I can't remember if I've cut it out because I edited this part last night, to be honest with you. But you might be able to see I spent a little bit of time kind of deciphering what animals I wanted to include, and you know what? A lot of them were quite similar to the sabled antelope and stuff like that. Black wildebeest, African buffaloes, that's what I meant. But I actually ended up adding ostriches, as I think I promised I would do in the last episode. So we now have reticulated giraffes, sabled antelopes, common warthogs, and common ostriches in this humongous habitat. And yes, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the biggest habitat throughout the entirety of Project COVEA. It's definitely not going to be the most interesting, and I definitely want to start creating kind of more intricate designs and stuff like that, because I really preferred doing that. And of course you saw it with the gharials right at the start of the series, and then we did it with the red pandas as well. That was much more contained, but then we started moving on to stuff like the hippos and the tigers. And whilst those huge grand exhibits look cool, I think they tend to get a bit boring. I'm not really motivated to get in and place rocks and trees constantly. So I think building up these more intricate exhibits, which is what I'm planning for the return to Project COVEA, is going to be a hell of a lot more entertaining to watch and a hell of a lot more entertaining to build and record. And in a similar light, with the way I record and edit these videos, I've kind of bottlenecked myself into a certain formula that I'd quite like to break free of. Just for example, all of these time lapses are at 12 times speed, which means I have to record for a good 3-4 hours in order to get enough content for an episode for you guys, which I just don't think is a smart idea. For example, the Banana Cabana, I think, was a shorter episode, but I could have made it longer just by slowing it down, and to be honest, that would have probably been easier to watch because we were in such close quarters at 12 times speed. It kind of forces everything to just blur and just jump around. It's really epileptic. But again, I know I'm just talking a hell of a lot about the stuff that's coming in the future, and I'm not doing it now. And you know what? Maybe if I was smart, I would do it now, but I kind of just want to have that huge revamp of the series. I don't know why, I just think it's a lot cooler doing it that way. So we're going to have just 2 more episodes like this one, and then we're going to change up the way we do it, and it should be a lot more fun to watch. Also, you guys might have caught it on the streams or at the end of the last episode. Actually, I put something after the end card if you didn't catch that. It was quite funny, where the giraffes walk up onto a tree and can't escape. In the stream as well, 3 of them walked onto the exact same spot and kind of became a giraffe hydra. I'll put up an image on screen right now, actually. But it was just beyond funny. I mean, the animals in this game are great, but they do stupid stuff like that all the time. And that's actually something I was dealing with throughout building this habitat. a lot. I mean, so many, I don't know why, but so many of the animals seem to be getting stuck in certain places, and then they complain about having no space because they can't actually walk to the rest of the habitat again. But they got to that space, why can't they just turn around and go out of that space? It makes absolutely no sense, and it was really triggering. But I think I've fixed most of those places now, and I think it's something to do with the enrichment items that I had placed down. I had them too close to all the trees and stuff like that, which looks way better, but obviously made those problems, so God knows. I don't know, it was really frustrating, but it seems to be sorted now, so my fingers are crossed. Anyways, as I've been ranting about all this random stuff that you guys probably don't care about, I've pretty much put down all the rockwork and plants in this habitat. But let's be honest, that's pretty much all my commentation is nowadays. I just rant about random things for 10-12 minutes, and then give you guys a tour, and then we're done. That's pretty much what goes into it. It's your free ticket into the brain of an idiot. I mentioned in the last episode how all the animals in this habitat needed hard shelter, and I didn't really have a good way to provide that because the giraffes were so tall, and I couldn't just make a cave like I've done for all the other animals in the plateaus. But I thought of a solution and said, screw it, let's make a huge ruined structure. We still hadn't got a really big structure. I tried doing it with the Bornean orangutans, and you know, we had all the ones spread out throughout the Bengal tiger habitat. But I think this one is way cooler. It just looks like one much bigger structure that would actually be here. I really like the way it turned out. We've got a hell of a lot of non-snap structures, so I didn't really have to work with the grid on this one, which was great. What's not so great is the fact that I decided to build this on the back of the habitat rather than the front where the people could actually see it. What was going through my brain, I have no idea, but that's where it is now, and I'm not rebuilding it. It was fun to do, but I'm not redoing it because it takes a hell of a lot of time and effort. And we're going to be starting that ruin thing right now. It's kind of like an archway. It's on multiple different levels. Honestly, I don't even know how to commentate it. So I'm just going to let you guys watch it. I will see you guys at the end of the time lapse when we get into the full-time tour. Of course, I'm going to give you guys the tour of this entire habitat because I didn't do it last episode. And I've got to bring you guys over to the Ruby Basin to show you guys the Red Hot Chili Pandas restaurant all complete. So I'm going to leave you guys with the time lapse. Watch me build up this pretty cool ruin piece, and I'd actually really like to hear what you guys think about it because I think it's really neat. But either way, I will see you guys in just a few minutes with the real-time tour. Alright everyone, so we're back in real time. I hope you enjoyed watching me build up that kind of ruinous structure on the backside of the safari habitat. But I'm starting up here all the way above the petrified plateaus with the kind of bird's eye view over everything that we've got so far, because I just wanted to show you how cool it looks. It really is starting to feel like a proper jungle, like we've kind of carved out paths through the forests and stuff like that. I just think it looks really neat. As you can see, we've got the bonobos pretty much on the bottom middle of the screen. We've got the body and orangutans on the top left, the Bengal tiger in the bottom left, and the safari is pretty much going all the way along the right side here. It looks a little bit weird without these areas filled in, and we'll be working around this kind of area with the western chimpanzee and the westland lowland gorilla, which we're going to be adding probably next episode actually. And I think that's really nice actually, because we might allow them to kind of walk up into this area, and then they can kind of, you know, they can get really close with the bonobos, but maybe not interact with them, I'm not sure. Either way, that'll really bring the entire thing together so we can move on with our projects. But really, this safari exhibit isn't super interesting. It's kind of just huge and just, you know, just a really nice thing to look over and just kind of gaze at the view. I still haven't made this little viewing platform area, but if you stand up here, you know, you can see a lot of the stuff. You can see all the giraffes drinking. Let me unpause the game here actually. I know, I just feel like this view is really nice. And as you're walking along this path, you know, you get different angles into, there's a little pathway down there for the giraffes to get back, because because the other animals could get to the back, but the giraffes couldn't, so I had to kind of carve out a path there as well. But all in all, yeah, I'm really happy with how this exhibit worked out. And I believe it's only the disabled antelopes can get up to this highest point here, and then the common warthogs can get up here, but the giraffes can get to none of it. I'm not sure about the ostriches actually. I don't think I ended up checking those. Alright lad, alright, how's it going? Whoa, big jump. Never mind actually, it seems like the warthogs can get up to this highest point. That completely disproved what I just said. But you know what we're gonna do? We are gonna name you Pumbaa, because we are basic. Boom, how's it going Pumbaa? Pumbaa, I don't know how you pronounce it, the dude from Lion King. And then of course we need to name one of our ostriches, but I have no idea where they're gonna be, so let me just go ahead and look for those. Not this guy is a male, we need a female I think. Ah, perfect, here's one. Bunmi. Well, you're not Bunmi anymore, you're going to be named Courtney. Now I know Courtney, you said you wanted either an ostrich or giraffe named after you, so if you want to be a giraffe instead of an ostrich, feel free to let me know. But I felt like it was only right, because you asked to be named after one of these animals, that I'd just name one of them after you, so hopefully you're glad about that. And now I can move over here and actually talk about the ruins, because of course I wasn't talking while doing that in the actual time lapse. I've made a couple minute changes, for example, popping little holes in the roof like this. I felt like it didn't look ruinous enough. But as you can see, even the giraffes can use it. They're still not super happy. They would like more hard shelter. They've only got 11%. But I mean, I'm not going to build some huge ugly shelter for them to have. I mean, that's fine. If they really need shelter, as you guys just saw, this guy could go under it and, you know, get the shelter that they want. So it's not a big deal to me. What this structure would have been in the Aztecan times or whatever, I don't know. I kind of just needed a shelter, and I thought this was a pretty cool idea for it, so I did it. But now I'm going to zerp right over to the Ruby Basin, because I needed to show you the Red Hot Chili Pandas restaurant that we have now finally finished. I was going to show you that in last episode, but of course I didn't do the little showcase at the end of the video. But this is it finished, and I've also added a whole ton of trees in this kind of gap. We need, you know, there's still some areas to touch up, but we'll be doing that over the next stream, so of course tune into those if you want. Originally it was just this area, but I felt like even with the seats inside, I don't have the interiors done, but that's not the point. Even with seats inside, having just 4 tables, I felt like definitely wasn't enough, so I added a little path here and then spanned some tables and chairs around here, which I think looks really good actually. I think it definitely brings it all together rather than just having this as more green. Also, I never look at this area at night. I doubt it looks that fantastic. Yeah, I've just lit up the doors and the sign, and to be honest, the rest of it really doesn't need lighting up. As I mentioned in the last one, I just don't think we should have a lot of light here, because it would, you know, disturb the animals. And you know what, let's go all the way over to the plateaus and see that place at night. Obviously there's like no light sources here, but I still think it looks really peaceful and, you know, just a nice ambience. You, however, are absolutely not helping with the goddamn ambience. Shut up! Who is this? Who is it? Chasuki? Chausiki? Whatever. Shut up. Go away. But anyways, that is about it for today's episode. Of course, next week we're going to be back with the chimpanzee and gorilla habitat. So I hope you've all enjoyed the second 2-parter of Project COVEA. We've got the safari and the Ruby Basin now. Of course, if you did enjoy, like and subscribe. Check out all the other COVEA playlists, and of course the Mystical Skyblock and Mystical Skyblock Week. If you didn't check that out, it took a lot of effort, so I really would appreciate it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all next week. Bye guys!